right, let's hop into the inside scoop and get the scoop on the hottest name in Broncos country recently, J.J. McCarthy.
All right, yeah. So I've been going through his tape, been checking him out, and I feel like I'm just here to provide information. I'm going to try to keep my opinion out of it and just give you guys as much information as I can.
So this is not going to be good for J.J.
No, it's going to be great for everybody. You know what I'm saying? But I have a couple plays that I like and a couple plays that I have questions on. But he's a competitor. His team won the national championship. I think that's great. He had almost 3,000 yards this year, 22 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 72.3% completion percentage for the year, and also 3 rushing touchdowns. He's a good, solid QB. He's only 21 years old, so that always leads to a high ceiling with his young age. But let's start out with the good stuff he does. So this is cover 2. You got is it working? So you got 2 halves of the field. This safety has the other half. There's another half right here. This linebacker has the middle read, which means he's running the middle of the field. That kind of looks suggestive. He's running the middle of the field, and I think that JJ does a great job of reading the middle of the field. Whether it was cover 2, man to man, I think he does a great job of seeing the middle of the field, and this is just a great strike to a linebacker versus wide receiver. He kind of gives him a little nod at the top, and JJ's able to do a nice little strike down the middle of the field, split it into 2 safeties right over the top of the linebacker, and this goes for a touchdown. And I think he does a great job of reading the middle of the field, whether it's, like I said, any coverages. If you give him a one-on-one in the middle of the field, he takes advantage of it and is able to make a good throw.
Man, that's got to be so refreshing for Sean to see. He's like, man, I haven't been able to throw in the middle of the field for a year. Now I get that.
Now that's all he does. All right, here, this is JJ showing off his – wait, is this the right play? Oh, no, this is not the right play. It's all good you hear. Let's see if we can just go past that one. All right, this is JJ being able to use his legs, evade defenders, and be able to keep his eyes downfield to be able to make good throws. Yeah, so he's scrambling, just able to keep his eyes downfield and really able to create time with his ability to scramble. I feel like he's athletic enough to get outside of the pocket. He's not a Jaden Daniels where he's going to kill you with his legs, but he's good enough to be able to move outside the pocket. And then right here, he does a great job throwing a strike to the back of the end zone. And this is a touchdown, another touchdown for him. So he's really good when he's able to move out the pocket, use his legs. He keeps his eyes downfield, so even when he's scrambling up through the middle of the pocket, he still is able to see the field and be able to pick apart the defense and make good plays.
Do all of those things lead to good pocket presence too for him?
I don't. That was one of the questions I had, because his O-line is so good. I won't say his pocket is constantly collapsing on him, and he has to evade within the pocket. He does a great job, like these little clips right here. This is one defender on the edge kind of getting to you, and you spin out. The rest of the guys are blocked up, just as you see in this clip. Like, in most of the clips, the guys are pretty much blocked up. Like, he takes an extra step back right here, but for the most part, this is how his pockets look.
Yeah.
He's pretty well protected.
He does pretty well, I think, stepping up in the pocket. I think he steps into at times.
Oh, is this your inside scoop or my inside scoop?
Wow. Oh, it's your inside scoop.
No, I'm just playing. I think you're right.
He climb the pocket.
This is another thing I feel like he does really well.
No, he's worried.
I'm just
I
playing
was doing that before.
This is another thing he does really well. Like, he has a back shoulder throw to the right side that he hits on most of the time he throws it. And I think he has a great feel for this. I think the right side is the side he feels most comfortable throwing outside of the middle of the field on. But right here, he hits the tight end on a nice back shoulder throw, because right now he's covered. So this is one of the first times I've seen him throw somebody open. Most of the time when he's making strikes downfield, they're either really low to where the guy catches it, there's no run after the catch, or the guy's wide open and he just kind of puts it on him and the guy kind of does what he does afterwards. But this is one of the first times I've seen him throw this guy open. I thought he did a great job doing that.
So that's interesting. The deep ball, not necessarily a strength coming out of college.
No, I feel like a lot. We'll get to it later on, but I do. That is something. Oh, and this is something. All right, now we have to talk about the bad. You hear messed up one of my plays, so I had one more good play.
Oh, wow.
But it's all good.
What was the point of the good play, if you remember?
was just recognizing defenses and escaping through the middle of the pocket.
Okay.
So he quickly recognized that it was zero blitz. Everybody's manned up. They blitzed everybody, and he saw opening and just took off, scored a touchdown. It was very, very easy for him to recognize it. He recognized it instantly, so I thought that was a good job by him.
Cool.
And then now we're going to talk about, just the other side of his game. And a little bit about it. He had one touchdown in their final 5 games of the season, and he averaged on their way to the championship, he averaged 159 yards a game. That's not the best.
Didn't play in 7 fourth quarters.
Yeah,
which is crazy because they was up by so much.
Wild.
Yeah, they're up by so much. But if you talk about his average, he'll be averaging 200 yards a game,
Exactly.
maybe 199. So you add to his total of 3,000 yards, you add another 350 yards. It's not really
Exactly.
He's not really breaking any records at that point either. And then he didn't even crack the top 50 as far as completions per game. Like you said, they didn't need him because they were so dominant running the ball, good on defense. I'm interested to see what he would do carrying a team. Can he carry a team? Because he's never had to at this point. And also some of his best games I felt like were against lesser opponents. Like the game he had 280 yards, 3 TDs, that was against East Carolina. And the game he had 335 yards, 0 touchdowns, that was against Purdue. He did have a 4 touchdown game against Michigan State, but to me, Michigan State was having a terrible year.
Awful. Yeah.
And so it is what it is. But this is him and his ability to run the ball. I do think he has some athletic ability. I don't think that they used it a lot. I think he only averaged like 4 rushes a game, including his scrambles, and he averaged like 3 yards a carry. So this is him against Minnesota, and he pulls the ball here, and he's able to make this corner right here miss and score a touchdown. I just am not sure that against the NFL that he'll be able to do this.
Right.
And I feel like against most guys, most corners, more safeties in the NFL, I feel like this is a tackle for loss, and we move on to the next play. I feel like he's athletic, but I don't feel like he's a running quarterback like a Jaden Daniels or a Lamar Jackson or anybody that you really have options and reads for within the game.
Yeah, the Minnesota Gopher is a little different than the Minnesota Vikings.
Just a little.
Yeah.
A little different.
Just a little. So he does score here, so he's a finisher. He's a competitor, like I said. This one is, let me see. Oh, this one is, for me, I feel like it's kind of a lot of underthrown balls. You want to talk about the deep throws?
Yeah.
A lot of his deep throws are underthrown. So they run a flea flicker here. And once again, even in a flea flicker, this guy's pocket is unmatched. He sits
They love
and
the flea
waits.
flickers.
Yeah, they do. I saw a couple of them. But he has a lot of time. I was looking up different stats to see his time to throw because I feel like it has to be high up there. I couldn't find it, but I felt like he usually had a good amount of time to throw.
So 2 years ago, Michigan's offensive line won the best offensive line in the country. This year, I think they were second,
Yeah.
only to Washington.
Yeah, they won it back-to-back years and then we're second.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, yes, they do have very good offensive line.
Pretty dang good offensive line. So this was, you can't see it, but this ball is severely underthrown and gets tipped and end up getting caught. But I feel like his deep balls, a lot of them are underthrown balls. I don't think he leads guys and lets guys run underneath his throws. He does have a hard time, I think, with the deep throws, and they're not really the best, I feel like, throws that he makes. So this ends up being a touchdown, but it was well behind the receiver. He had to go back and tip it again. Defender almost got it. He ended up catching it, and this makes him look good. So this is one of his 22 touchdowns, but in all reality, should have either been a pick or a pass breakup.
Right. That's the Cortland Sutton special, though. He could make that. He could make that play.
Exactly. Okay, so this is the last clip I have, and it kind of speaks a little bit more to the negative side of things. Is they're sitting in man-to-man whole defense, so you have a whole player right here. You have a whole player right here, and then you have the safety over the top. But everybody else is man-to-man. And I'm wondering what his thought process is throwing this ball, because you have the whole defender right there. And as you see, you have an in route coming from your number 2 wide receiver, so your S. And he's running right to this whole defender. Now, the play ends up being good because the whole defender out of nowhere just turns his back, but he's looking right. This defender is looking right at the quarterback while he's throwing it, and this receiver is running right to the defender. He ends up threading the needle right here, and it's a touchdown. But I'm not sure why you would throw this ball. he is under pressure, and so he's trying to make a play. But in my eyes, I don't know what this defender is doing right now. He just turned around right when the ball is thrown. If he just is looking at him like he was, it's a pick.
Yep.
And so I just don't understand why he would throw this right now in whole coverage. Maybe he's under duress. Maybe he's making a throw. But I feel like these kind of things in the NFL will be interceptions and bad plays. So that was just my spiel on it. You can take what you want from it, but
Man,
that's it.
I love it, Todd. And my biggest takeaway from that that I hadn't thought of going into this is he like the exact opposite of Russell Wilson, where he's a guy that doesn't have the best deep ball, but can hit the middle of the field, really works the middle of the field. And Mike Sean love that because it's just such an overcorrection for what Russ did or didn't do last year.
Yeah, it's very different. Like you said, it's complete opposites. As I'm watching the film, I do see a lot of good things, but I kind of question, like, he's been on the rise, and in a lot of conversation in the last 2 weeks, I'm kind of wondering, like, what is it that he does that makes people, like, you know, gung-ho about him at this point? Because from the tape, he does some good things, but I wouldn't say that at any point throughout his college career did he have to be the man, did he have to go out there and put together good games. And the games he had over 200 yards were all against the worst competition that he had. So just very interesting for like the trajectory that he's being put on right now and how he's being viewed lately.
You know why I think he's really going to benefit already and going to continue to benefit is the unknown. The NFL loves the unknown. And because a lot of people like to point at the unknown and say, well, we can grow off of that. And they really only point to grow off the good stuff, not the bad stuff. And like you said, he has the most unknown of any of these quarterbacks because he's been asked to do the least. With Michael Penix, people are like, well, he's maxed out. Maxed out at, 4,500 plus yards every single year. Not too bad if that's truly the case. But with JJ, they think, man, we can continue to grow off this stuff. And he's the most NFL ready because he's worked under center a lot. And so I'm just playing up the negatives of why people say that. But just there's so much unknown with him. He's also small. He's like, what, 6'3", 197?
I'm at 202.
202?
202, yeah.
That is tiny.
Yeah. But, I mean, in a few years, you'd imagine he fills out a little bit.
Yeah.
That's part of just having a young guy. I pulled up the time to throw. So there were 92 Power 5 quarterbacks who threw the ball at least 100 times. So here's just some fun ones. So second fastest, 2.22 seconds, is Carson Beck. Supposed to be one of the big quarterbacks next year at Georgia. Bo Nix, 7th, 2.32. Quinn Ewers next year, big guy, 12 at 2.37. Next up is Jaden Daniels, was 31st at 2.49. Drake May, 35th, 2.53. Shadur, 47th at 2.58. Rattler, I guess, 51st, 2.61. Then you get to Penix and McCarthy tied, 58th out of 92 at 2.64. And then, let's see, there were a couple more down here.
Good offensive lines allowed both of them to hold the ball for as long as they wanted.
So 90th of the 92, Caleb Williams, 2.94 seconds.
Wow.
Again, a lot of that's him doing all of his stuff that he does, but that is kind of crazy.
That is.
And then right behind him, Jalen Milroe, 2.97 seconds to throw, 91st to 92.
Heisman next year.
Somebody has to win it.